So you're not happy with your QME report. Want to get a new one. What can you do? What can you do to fix this report? Maybe start all over again. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there's not a lot that you can do. So let's kind of walk through some of the main options. We're assuming you are an injured worker, you're in California, you went to a QME, you don't have an attorney, you got a report back, and there's problems. If it's a small problem, maybe QME messed up something simple. Maybe QME was working on the wrong assumption. Maybe QME working on wrong information, maybe copied information from another injured worker into your report somehow. That needs to get fixed. That can be done through a request for a supplemental report. So you can write a proposed letter to the QME, send that off to the insurance adjuster, make sure they're not going to object. There's very specific requirements. I'd really recommend reaching out to your local I&A officer, get help with that. But you can write to the QME and lay out the issue and ask for correction of that mistake if it's something simple. Let's say QME came to just some horrible conclusions from your perspective. You had an injury, but there's no permanent disability. There's virtually no value to the case. Or the QME says you're back to a baseline. There's no need for future medical care. This is much more of an uphill battle. Can you take the deposition of the QME? Yeah, technically you can, but the odds of success of an injured worker without an attorney setting a deposition, advancing fees, most likely $910 currently, to the QME for 2 hours for the deposition, and then going into that deposition and getting the QME to change his or her mind, it's really an uphill battle, especially since the insurance adjuster is going to send it to outside counsel, and it will almost certainly be an attorney who has handled workers' comp cases and is familiar with depositions and the technicalities that they entail. So can you take the deposition of the QME? Yeah, but it's really an uphill battle. Beyond that, can you just get a new QME? That's really tough. You can't just request a new QME. You need to have grounds to do so. And really, either you're going to need an agreement from the adjuster. So the adjuster agrees, let's start all over again. Well, if your only complaint is that you don't like the QME report, chances are the adjuster's really going to like that report and not want to get rid of it. So the chances of that happening somewhere between slim and none. Maybe the adjuster's just not going to agree. Maybe the judge will agree to throw that out and get a new QME for you. It's possible. You can take the case to trial. The problem these days is that really it has to go to trial. The judge has to issue an evidentiary ruling, and then a party has a chance to file an appeal. There has to be a record. The judge is going to have to listen to testimony, most likely, take the record reports in as evidence. So there's a record so that if one party appeals, the appeals board can look at it and see what the judge decided, what it was based on. This is really an uphill battle because now you're going to have to basically set a case for trial. It is exceedingly rare that you're just going to go to court, talk to a judge and say, I don't like this report. I need to get a new QME. And the judge says, you know what? You're right. Toss that QME out. Let's start all over again. It's just not going to happen. The last option, and really in the last option, you're going to have to get an attorney, most likely, to take a case to trial and contest that report. You could hire an attorney, and maybe the attorney will get the insurance adjuster or defense attorney to agree to throw out that report and maybe go to an AME, an agreed medical examiner, instead of a QME. That's a possibility. The downside is, again, if the insurance adjuster really likes that report and you really don't, and you hire an attorney who really doesn't like that report, again, it's an uphill battle, but your attorney might have a little bit more leverage finding some legal arguments why the defense should either agree to a new panel or agree to an agreed medical examiner. Either way that you boil it down, it's really going to be an uphill battle. If you have a QME and you simply don't like the conclusions that the QME came to, generally you're stuck with it. You're either going to need to work out a settlement, point out to the defense why that QME report is flawed, where it's wrong, and work out a settlement noting those disagreements. Maybe they'll pay a little bit more to avoid going to another QME or to avoid a trial. Beyond that, probably your best bet is going to be to reach out to a local attorney for a consultation, lay out your issues that you have with the QME, see what the attorney suggests. If you have questions on this video, feel free to drop those down below, see if we can answer those general questions for you. And if you found the video helpful, hit the like button.